The vibe in Deadford is absolutely rancid right now. It is a small town in Pennsylvania that is famous for dead tomatoes and supposedly a UFO crash site, which honestly sounds like a conspiracy theory Reddit thread come to life. Romeo is totally over the main character syndrome of thinking life will change until he realizes he is actually trapped in a loop of despair. Talk about a bad day. Romeo gets absolutely destroyed by a monster, literally torn apart in seconds. But his grandpa pulls a clutch move with some sci-fi tech called the Deadgear life support system. Now Romeo is half dead, which is honestly a mood, and has been rebranded as Dead Man. He is basically running on fumes and chaotic energy. We get a recap because the lore is getting thick. Romeo was down bad for a girl named Juliet he found on the road, but she ghosted him for a white devil monster. Now, Grandpa Benjamin is dead, but lives on as a data pack on Romeo's back, which is the ultimate backseat gamer situation. They are hunting Juliet variants across space and time. Grandpa is really yapping about the exposition here. It turns out Juliet is a space-time singularity who ruins every town she visits. The FBI space-time police are involved, and Romeo has been drafted as a cadet to hunt his ex. It is giving toxic relationship goals. They have a bike that travels through dimensions, so they are ready to crash out. They have fought so many versions of Juliet at this point, including a Ferris wheel hybrid and a giant witch. It is starting to feel like a boss rush mode where the difficulty spike is unfair. Now they have tracked down another variant, and Grandpa is hyping Romeo up to fight. The trauma bonding between this cyborg grandson and ghost grandpa is real. Agent Kimberly calls in with a fetch quest. They need to find parts of a key to unlock a gate and locate a Nirvana TV. Romeo is trying to be professional, but Grandpa keeps correcting him about his code name. He accepts the Dead Man title, realizing he is basically a weapon now. The grind never stops for an interdimensional cop. Romeo finally pulls up on this timeline's Juliet, and she is casually cooking food while discussing the apocalypse. She has zero chill and admits she is reverting people back to nothing. The tension is high, but she is gaslighting him into thinking they could be friends. Romeo is not buying the peaceful act because he knows she is about to throw hands. The conversation is over, and it is time to throw down. This version of Juliet transforms or reveals her true form as a massive monster. Grandpa calls it a mutant, but it is basically a Dark Souls boss fight waiting to happen. Romeo stops hesitating and decides to delete this variant from the server. The adrenaline is definitely kicking in. Kimberly confirms the singularity is gone, so that is a dub for the team. They have to bounce immediately before the timeline collapses or something. Romeo and Grandpa head back to the ship, preparing for the next jump. It is a never-ending cycle of violence and dimension hopping, but someone has to clean up this messy timeline. They run into a guy who is obsessed with the idea that your face defines your soul, which is a weird flex. Romeo is just trying to find Juliet, but this dude is speaking in riddles and being super pretentious. He claims to have enjoyed many girls with long black hair, which is an immediate red flag. Romeo is ready to silence this creep. The creepy face guy turns into a giant monster because of course he does. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Grandpa points out that this enemy can regenerate as long as his head is intact, which is such a spammy mechanic. Romeo has to figure out how to cheese this fight. They realize they need to locate the real body to stop the infinite health regeneration glitch. Romeo has the villain on the ropes, crawling desperately. The guy claims he is part of a select few who control the world. Basically, Illuminati confirmed. Romeo does not care about the politics. He just knows this guy is pure evil. Grandpa warns him not to listen to the villain's monologue, but the bad guy starts spilling his tragic backstory tea. We get a flashback to 1862, and it is horrifying. This villain was involved in a massacre during the Civil War era, burning people alive to save his own skin. He talks about the fear in the slave's eyes and how he used it. It is absolutely vile, proving this guy has been a toxic influence on history for centuries. Romeo is in a diner with a woman who looks like Juliet but has lost her memory. It is a totally different vibe, like a dating sim, where you are terrified the love interest will murder you. She is being sweet, but Romeo is suspicious. He orders a cream soda while trying to figure out if this is another trap or a fresh start. Suddenly, Romeo is thrown into a survival test program. He has to fight a bony giant to pass the exam. It feels like the simulation is glitching out or he has been captured. The shift from diner romance to arena combat is whipping him around emotionally. He has to lock in and smash this skeleton to bits to escape. Romeo arrives at a government building to see the mayor, who is obviously another Juliet variant. The receptionist calls it the world of the Reaper. The atmosphere is sterile and terrifying. It is giving bureaucratic dystopia where you have to fill out forms before you die. Romeo barges in without an appointment because he is done playing by the rules. The mayor is signing death warrants like she is autographing merch. She is obsessed with the power of deciding who lives and dies with a fountain pen. It is a god complex on full display. She starts emitting a noise that humans cannot hear, basically a sonic attack. Grandpa has to translate her insults, and apparently she is challenging Romeo to a duel. Romeo is driving and listening to someone rant about the Davos Forum and global conspiracies. It is the kind of deep-dive lore dump you find on 3 a.m. YouTube. They find a woman on the road who is begging to be killed. It is a heavy scene that shows how broken the people in this timeline are. Romeo tries to help, but the trauma is deep. They arrive at an asylum to see a Dr. Hill. The vibe is immediately hostile and they get locked in. It is a classic horror trope setup. They are welcomed to the North Wing for a party, but everyone knows it is going to be a trap. The dead ball system is failing and things are about to get very messy and violent. Dr. Hill is lecturing about hidden power and how most people live in ignorance. He is trying to justify his twisted experiments as unlocking potential. He talks about desire not being evil, which is what every villain says before doing something atrocious. He is offering power to his sons, creating a twisted family dynamic that Romeo has to dismantle. Romeo confronts Dr. Hill, trying to arrest him as a space-time fugitive. Hill pulls the classic, "I am not evil, I am just misunderstood" card, claiming he is doing what is best for himself. Romeo is over the debate club tactics and decides it is time for lethal force. The doctor transforms and the boss fight begins in earnest. After the fight, they find 2 survivors who seem to be the doctor's children or experiments. The creature is communicating that their father was tricked. It adds a layer of gray morality to the mission. Romeo decides to let them go live in peace, showing he still has humanity left despite being a reanimated corpse. He hopes they find a quiet life. Romeo is driving with his sister, who is talking about moon landing conspiracies and alien bases. It is a weird bonding moment. Suddenly, she starts glitching or hurting, realizing time is running out. She wants to go back in time to fix things, but Romeo is skeptical. It is a heartbreaking realization that they are running out of road in this timeline. Romeo finds a girl named Jenny stuck inside a tank or container. She is a rookie reporter who was investigating a cult and got captured. She is surprisingly chill about being rescued by a zombie sheriff. Grandpa is also there, making it a trio. Jenny explains she was tracking a story about an actress killed by the cult, providing critical intel. They encounter the cult leader who calls himself the Child of God. He is interacting with a haughty woman who wants to use an artifact. The leader admits he has never seen God, which makes his whole shtick a scam. He is just a narcissist using faith to control people. He plans to summon something dark using Romeo as a catalyst. The Child of God reveals he is a massive fraud, but does not care because his followers worship him anyway. It is pure ego. He wants to summon the Black to ruin someone's life. The toxicity is off the charts. He is channeling all his daddy issues into a world-ending ritual, and Romeo is standing right in the splash zone. The cult leader starts preaching about violence purifying the soul. He wants Romeo to give in to bloodlust. Jenny shows up to help, claiming a strange old man saved her. It is getting chaotic with multiple factions clashing. Romeo realizes this guy is empty inside and just mirroring Romeo's own anger. They have to find the real enemy hiding deep down. They reach a Nirvana TV, which is a portal that only Romeo can pass through. Grandpa warns him that Magrus, the real threat, is on the other side. Romeo can sense the enemy's presence. He leaves Jenny behind to go solo into the digital or dimensional realm. It is a point of no return, diving into the heart of the glitch. The fight with Magrus ends, but the place is collapsing. The entity admits defeat and weakness. Romeo tries to save Jenny, but everything is falling apart. He tells the entity to return him so he can help her. It is a desperate race against time as the dimension crumbles around them. Romeo refuses to leave anyone behind if he can help it. In a moment of heavy emotional vulnerability, Romeo asks Grandpa to kill him. He is exhausted by the fighting and the pain. Grandpa refuses, obviously. Romeo is spiraling, questioning why he has to keep going. It is a raw look at the toll this endless war is taking on his psyche. He is physically dead, but the mental fatigue is worse. Romeo wakes up in a dream sequence at a beach cafe waiting for Juliet. It feels like a hallucination. The Juliet here is gaslighting him, acting like they are on a date while the world burns. Grandpa screams at him to wake up because it is a trap set by a Reaper. Romeo has to fight the urge to stay in the fantasy. Grandpa snaps Romeo out of it, identifying the beach Juliet as a Reaper in disguise. It is a classic siren song trap. Romeo realizes his dream is actually a nightmare loop. He decides to trade a nightmare for a nightmare and attacks. The illusion shatters, and they are back in the gritty reality of combat. No more beach episodes. Grandpa drops a bombshell. His data is fading, and he won't be able to accompany Romeo to the end. It is the saddest moment yet. He says he is proud of how Romeo has grown. Romeo is devastated, losing his only family and support system right before the final boss. Grandpa signs off, leaving Romeo truly alone for the first time. Romeo meets a mysterious figure who might be the space-time king. The guy speaks in riddles and says he will be waiting at the final stop. It is the setup for the ultimate showdown. Romeo has to push forward without Grandpa, fueled by grief and determination. The stakes have literally never been higher as he approaches the end of the line. The enemy taunts Romeo, calling him a samurai and referencing Miyamoto Musashi. It is a weird attempt at psychological warfare. The bad guy claims to have researched Romeo like a sports opponent. Romeo ignores the trash talk and focuses. He is not here to play games. He is here to finish the mission and reset the timeline. The antagonist invites Romeo to a dinner of legendary beef before their fight. It is such a Bond villain move. He wants to have a civilized chat before the violence. Romeo agrees to the invite, mostly because he needs to get close to strike. It is a tense build-up, walking into the lion's den for a steak dinner. Romeo confronts a sorrowful version of Juliet. They both apologize for how things turned out. She wishes she could go back to the day they met. It is a tragic realization that they are both victims of circumstance. Romeo struggles with forgiveness, wondering if this is another nightmare. The emotional weight of their doomed romance is crushing him. Romeo finds the real Juliet, the source of it all. She reveals she destroyed the world just to see him again. It is the ultimate toxic attachment. She claims her consciousness made her do it for a new world order. Romeo is horrified that the apocalypse was basically a grand romantic gesture gone wrong. She is totally delusional. Romeo is done with the poetry and the talking. Juliet summons her pet, which is clearly the final boss monster. Romeo declares it is time to kick ass and finish the story. He is channeling all his rage and exhaustion into this one fight. It is the climax where he has to destroy the thing he loved to save reality. After the battle, the truth comes out. The entity is an interstellar life form named Yakumo that was transmitting data into Romeo's brain since he was a kid. The whole Juliet tragedy was a program to bring Romeo to this point. It is a mind-bending twist. Romeo was groomed by aliens to become the new ruler, or something equally wild. The system is resetting. Romeo prepares for a final launch in the Horizon unit. The tech chatter is intense as everything powers up to 120%. It is the end of his journey as a human and the start of something else. He takes off into the unknown, leaving the broken timeline behind. The dead man finally finds his peace, or his purpose. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.